Good morning. So today we are going to do lecture number 7.5. This is going to be the last but one lecture on module 7. After this we will have one more lecture on grinding temperature. In this lecture, what are we going to do? We are going to try to estimate HF. Once again, for your clarification, HF and HFL they have used interchangeably, and QF and QFL they have been used interchangeably. So when you are doing making notes for your own consumption, please use appropriately. Now this is the general equation of heat transfer in grinding. This is the total heat flask. This is the heat taken away by the chip. This is the heat taken away or entering the grinding, entering the workpiece. This is the heat which is entering the grinding wheel, and this is the amount of heat being taken away by the grinding fluid. Now we all know that theta is equal to 1.13 QW divided by beta W root over LC by VW. This has been arrived at from the initial equation of Jaeger's. So if we reduce QW, the temperature rise will decrease. So somehow we have to reduce QW. How do we do that? To reduce QW, these quantities are to be increased. Then only QW will go down. So for today's consumption, we will emphasize on QFL. So QFL has to be increased. How do I increase QFL? QFL can be increased in two ways. One is increasing HF, this is not HW, this is HF, or increasing theta. So how do you increase HF? For that you need to model HF or need to learn how to estimate HF. QF can or QFL can be written as and most of the time we assume theta fluid is equal to theta ambient, so that this can be written as, however, this part can also be increased. You can definitely would not like to increase this one, but you can reduce this theta FL. Theta FL can be reduced, then theta would be increased. How do you decrease this? This can be done by using chilled coolant or chilled grinding fluid. Typically grinding fluids is used at ambient temperature. Ambient temperature is India in the grinding on the shop floor can be as high as 50 degrees centigrade. On the coolant tank, the temperature can reach 50 to 60 degree temperature because of churning action and constant use. So there one can put a chiller and bring down the temperature of the fluid to 6 degrees centigrade, and that would greatly improve the heat taken away by the fluid. However, we are going a bit away from our main objective. Our main objective is to learn how to estimate theta F. If we learn how to estimate theta F, we would be able to devise grinding temperature control strategies. So from that estimation procedure, grinding temperature control strategies would also come in. So let us see how to go forward. What is this? In grinding, this is your grinding wheel and this is the workpiece. This is your hot zone and this is your high grinding zone temperature, this zone. So that we are replacing with a hot plate. So this hot plate is at a temperature of theta W and grinding fluid is being applied. So this is a typical boundary layer problem that you have done in fluid mechanics as well as heat transfer. So I am taking help of that boundary layer, but I am not solving such a complicated geometry which is given here. I am assuming there is a hot plate which is simulating the grinding zone and fluid is flowing over it which is simulating the grinding fluid. The grinding fluid temperature is theta FL and its velocity is u infinity. And thus, this is the fluid boundary layer. This is the way it will develop, and the black one is the temperature or thermal boundary layer. It will develop. So at the interface, your fluid velocity would be 0 and gradually it would increase and it would approach theta FL, u infinity. And where it becomes almost equal to u infinity, 99%, we call that thickness as hydrodynamic boundary layer thickness. Similarly, temperature would be high because this is a hot plate. Gradually temperature would reduce because heat is being removed from the hot plate to the fluid, and at a particular place your temperature would be equal to the fluid temperature, and that would be called the thermal boundary layer. So this concept we will use to calculate HF. So there are two kinds of heat transfer which are taking place. One is the convection over this particular surface. So convection is a macro scale heat transfer process. It is not a micro scale. And macro scale heat transfer process can be estimated how much heat is being convected away from the hot plate as the convective heat transfer coefficient HF or HFL into the temperature difference. How much is the temperature difference? Hot plate temperature is theta W and the fluid temperature is theta FL. So from grinding point of view, one can write it as theta HFL into theta that we have used earlier. But let us not go into this direction for the time being. Just as a rejoinder, I reminded you how it is related to grinding. So this is the heat transfer from the hot plate to the fluid because of convective heat transfer. Now, at this particular point, what is the velocity of the fluid? Velocity of the fluid is 0. That means exactly at the atomic interface between the plate and the fluid is stagnant. And as because the fluid is stagnant, I can say there the basic physics of heat transfer is conduction from the hot plate to the static layer of fluid, the layer of fluid which is exactly adjacent to the hot plate. And conduction equation in one dimension is written like this: Kf into thermal gradient, as because it is hot plate to low temperature, so a minus sign is coming because this gradient is negative. So these are the two mechanisms which are working. One is heat transfer by convection, another one is heat transfer by conduction. Why it is conduction? Because at the interface of fluid and the plate there is no slip velocity. The fluid velocity is that of the plate and plate is resting, so it is 0. So fluid is not moving with respect to the plate, so it is conduction. And these two heat transfer mechanisms, they have to match. So we can write down minus KFL into d theta dy at y equal to 0. Once again, I am writing HFL equal to HF, QFL equal to QF, and KFL equal to KF. So this has been used interchangeably in this particular lecture or in this series. So please take note of that. So KFL into the thermal gradient at y equal to 0. This is your y-axis. This is your x-axis. So at y equal to 0, this is. And this is the convective heat transfer. From the macroscopic convection point of view, HF into temperature difference. Hot plate temperature minus fluid temperature. Now, what is the temperature distribution? I have assumed temperature distribution. That means this temperature profile to be a second degree curve. A plus by plus cy square. Now there are three unknowns A, B and C. To solve for A, B and C, I require three boundary conditions. So let us see what is our first boundary condition. At theta equal equal to y equal to 0, how much is theta? That means at this particular point, how much is theta? Theta is equal to hot plate temperature, which is theta W. So I put that into this equation. Theta W becomes A plus B into 0 plus C into 0 square. So A becomes theta W. So the equation changes slightly. Theta becomes theta W plus B into Y plus C into Y square. This is nothing but because A equal to theta W that we have got from the first boundary condition. This is the second boundary condition that we are going to put. What is that second boundary condition? How much is the value of theta at the end of the thermal boundary layer? So at this particular position. At this particular position and onward, upward, it is equal to theta FL, fluid temperature. So at y equal to dt, this is equal to fluid temperature. So I put it as fluid temperature. This remains theta W. Y becomes delta T, and here y square become delta T square. So this is the second boundary condition that we have put. What is the third boundary condition? Third boundary condition is that your slope of change of temperature, that is thermal gradient, is 0. There is no further change. Here is the thermal gradient at y equal to 0, and here is the thermal gradient at y equal to delta T, and there the thermal gradient is 0. So I differentiate the initial equation. Initial equation was theta equal to theta W plus By plus Cy square. By differentiating, I get B plus TCy, 2Cy, and then we put this equal to 0, and once we put that equal to 0, this equation becomes this one. So this equation becomes this one. That means your B plus 2C 2 delta, just a minute, your B plus 2C delta T becomes 0. So this is the equation which comes in. So from that, your C becomes minus B by 2 delta T, and that particular thing we put in this equation. If we change this equation, it becomes B delta T plus C delta T square equal to minus theta W into minus theta FL. So it is coming from this particular equation. It is coming from this particular equation. Theta W minus theta FL. If you put a minus, if you take it on the other side, it becomes B into delta T plus C into delta T square. And that's what has been used here. B into delta T plus C into delta T square is this. And then I replace this C with this particular expression. So it becomes this one. And then we get a value of B. B becomes minus 2 theta W minus theta FL divided by delta T. Now let's see with all these what we can do. Our interest was to find out so now we will try to estimate this value d theta dy, whether we can estimate at y equal to 0. I'll get rid of this one. Okay, let us see what happens. So KFL minus KFL into d theta dt at y equal to 0 is nothing but KFL into B. Why? Because this is the expression of d theta dy. So d theta dy at y equal to 0 becomes 0 plus B plus C 2C into 0, which is B. So it is nothing but minus KF into B. In the previous slide, we have got an expression of B. So we put that expression here, and this B is nothing but so you can see here. So it comes here and then you replace it and you get an expression for the conductive heat transfer to be equal to this. And that conductive heat transfer is equal to the convective heat transfer. So when you match them together, you get a value of HFL, that is convective heat transfer coefficient of the grinding fluid, equal to 2 times KFL, that is its thermal conductivity, divided by its the thickness of the thermal boundary layer. So it is a material property and it is also a property of the boundary layer. So if you choose a fluid where KFL is high, your HFL is going to be high. If you somehow reduce the thermal boundary layer, then also your HFL is going to be high. Now already in a previous numerical problem, we have used a value of 20,000 and in another one 25,000 watt per meter square degree Kelvin. Let us estimate using this equation how much is the typical value of FL. So we are using for soluble oil. As I said earlier, soluble oil dilution is 1:20 to 1:100. So 100% water, 1:1% oil. And for water, the thermal conductivity is 0.6 per watt per meter per degree Kelvin. So that's what has been put here. The thickness of the thermal boundary layer has been taken as 50. And because of that choice, our estimated value of HF has come out to be 24,000. So this equation we would like to spend some more time with this particular equation. So you can enhance or choose a fluid whose thermal conductivity is higher. This is one way. Another way is that this you have to reduce. How can you reduce this one? You can reduce this one. This will reduce if the fluid velocity is increased. How do you increase fluid velocity? Fluid velocity can be increased by increasing the application pressure. So this gives you a particular technique which is called high pressure cooling. In grinding, high pressure cooling is not exactly used. In machining, one can use a pressure of around 100 bar, that is 10 MPa or so, 100 bar, 150 bar, 200 bar. But in case of grinding, it is never so high. It is hardly around 10 to 20 bar. Never grinding fluid is applied at a higher pressure, because if you apply grinding fluid at a higher pressure, it induces hydrodynamic drag on the spindle. So to overcome that hydrodynamic drag, lot of spindle power is wasted. So in grinding, typically when we call high speed cooling, high pressure cooling in grinding, it is around 10 to 20 bar, not more than that. But in case of machining, turning, milling, that kind of situation, your pressure can be as high as 100 to 200 bar. So what we have learned today, we have learned a lot of things. We have learned to estimate the convective heat transfer coefficient, and for estimating convective heat transfer coefficient, we have taken a very simple path. What is that simple path? It is the development of boundary layer over a hot plate. Grinding is not so simple, but it somehow captures the basic physics, and that basic physics says if you want to improve the thermal convective heat transfer coefficient in fluid, choose a particular oil, particular grinding fluid whose thermal conductivity is high. It also says your thickness of the thermal boundary layer should be less. If it has to be less, then your velocity has to be high. If your velocity has to be high, your application pressure has to be high. You might say that in grinding, lamellar thermal boundary layer does not exist. It is always turbulent. I accept that, but this is a simple theory to explain the underlying technology. And this approach and this assumption explains the underlying technologies or suggests the underlying technologies beautifully. And that's the reason I have taken this path for suggesting this estimation technique. Thank you so much. So this completes our lecture 7.5. After this, another 7.6 will come, and with that we will conclude this particular module on grinding temperature. Thanks a lot.